Most e-commerce brands are still blasting their full email list with each email campaign that they send, and it's slowly killing their open rates, their deliverability, and their long-term sales. Today, I'm going to show you how to fix this with 4 engagement-based segments. And I'm also going to show you how to set this up inside of Klaviyo so you can make sure that you're protecting your list long-term and driving more revenue. This is tip number 4 in a series where I'm sharing one actionable email marketing tip, takeaway, or strategy for e-commerce brands, and these are all designed to help you make more money. If this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, my name is Nolan Butler. I'm the co-founder of High Camp Partners. We're a New York-based email marketing agency for e-commerce brands, and I make YouTube videos to share what I've learned about email marketing and help as many people as possible. This YouTube video and this YouTube channel is all about helping e-commerce business owners between $500,000 and $5 million per year. This seems to be the sweet spot where you need to go beyond the basics in email marketing and implement some advanced strategies. Any brand really below $500,000 a year can get away with the fundamentals, the basics of email marketing, whereas any brand above $5 million per year should really start looking at investing in an in-house team. A lot of e-commerce brands are killing their email campaign results and they don't even realize it. They're still blasting their entire list with each email campaign and just hoping for good open rates and hoping for good click rates. But what they're really doing is they're training inboxes like Gmail to ignore them. If you're seeing your open rates drop, your promotions tab filling up, or your emails getting flagged, this is why. Today, I'm going to show you 4 simple engagement-based segments that you can implement inside of Klaviyo to protect your deliverability, boost your opens, and make more money from each campaign that you send. So let me paint a picture for you really quick. You've probably built your email list. You've definitely worked hard for every single email that you've gotten to sign up. Maybe you've ran pop-ups on your site. You've had offers to get people to come in, and you've sent those people through welcome flows. But here's the truth that most people don't realize. Inbox providers do not care how many people you have on your list. They really only care about who's actively opening and clicking and who's really engaging with your emails. Are they clicking on your emails? Are they replying to your emails? These are all things that are going to tell inbox providers kind of more about you and more about your domain. If you keep hammering your full list with sales promos every single week, even if you're just sending to people who haven't engaged in 90, 120, or even 180 days, you're not just wasting sends, but you're actually training Gmail, inbox providers like Gmail and Yahoo to think that this sender, this domain equals low quality, and we want to send them to promotions or even worse, spam. And once this happens, even your best, most loyal customers who would engage with your emails, they would purchase from your emails, they're going to stop seeing your emails too because they're going to go to promotions, they're going to go to spam, and we do not want that. We want to avoid that at all costs. And that's when sales, unfortunately, are going to fall off a cliff, and you actually won't even realize it's happening until it's too late. And then you have to go through a long struggle to get your deliverability score back to normal. And that's why with the brands that we manage and the other ones crushing email right now are segmenting their email list and they're rotating campaigns based on activity and based on a rule that I follow that I'll share with you in a little bit. Really, the easiest place to start with this is to create 4 basic time windows for segments. Typically 14 days, 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. And I'll show you how to set all of these up in a second. So here's exactly what you're going to do inside of Klaviyo. We're going to create a 14-day engaged segment. Now, these are going to be people who have either opened, clicked, or were active on your website in the last 14 days. And this is kind of what we determine as engaged. So that's going to be 14-day engaged, 30-day engaged, so same thing, just 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. And then after that, we're going to rotate the campaigns that we send between these segments. So 70% of the campaigns that we send should be value-based. And these are things like educational emails, how-tos, maybe an update on Instagram posts, an update on publications that we've been featured in, a testimonial, emails, things like that. Whereas 30% of campaigns should be sales based. And these are things like product promos, product spotlights, sales, anything that is really pushing for a sale. Now, what we want to do is we want to send value-based emails to your most engaged subscribers and occasionally to your lesser engaged ones. And this is really your preference. And we'll go over another 70-30 rule in a second that will help you establish a more routine around this. And then large sale events can be sent to your 60 and even 90-day engaged segments, where smaller sales emails should stick to 14 to 30 day engaged. And again, this is really your preference here. So what is the second 70-30 rule of email campaigns? The second 70-30 rule of email campaigns is that we're going to send about 70% of your emails to your 14 to 30 day engaged segments to drive consistent results, and 30% to your 60 to 90 day segments to reactivate cooling subscribers without hurting your deliverability. Now, that doesn't mean that we're sending these 70% right here all to your 14 to 30 engaged. It means that out of all of these emails combined, we're sending 70% of those to your 14 to 30 and then 30% to your 60 to 90. So it doesn't mean only value-based to your most engaged, and it doesn't mean only sales or only large sales to your 60 to 90 day engaged. So for a little bit more context here, the 14 to 30 day engaged segments are going to be your most active audience, basically. These are people fueling your open rates, your click-through rates, and your positive sender reputation. So you want to make sure that the majority of your campaigns, typically around 70%, like I said, are hitting here to keep inbox providers happy and keep your core audience buying repeatedly. These people can carry your deliverability metrics and keep your emails out of spam, keep your emails inside the inbox, and even out of promotions. Whereas with your 60 to 90 day engaged segment, this is more of kind of like a cooling off audience. These are your lower probability buyers, and you're going to want to send them fewer email campaigns as a result. So typically, like I said, around 30% of your total volume to these folks, focusing on reactivation offers, promos, and maybe even some urgency type of emails here. And occasionally we can throw in kind of like a value-based email. If it's a really like important one, if it's really understandable and digestible, we could throw it in there as well. But we don't want to email them so often that they start dragging down your open rates, click rates, and placed order rates even more. So the big question, should you actually send to your full email list, including the people who have not opened or engaged in a while? And if so, how often do we want to do this? Well, the short answer is yes, you should email your entire list. And I would say once a month or once every other month is a good rule to follow here. And this is what we've kind of done, and this is what we do with the brands that we help with email marketing. Sending to your full list helps you re-engage cold subscribers, clean up any dead weight, and catch a few extra sales that you might have otherwise missed here. But to do it right, we like to do it in a text-based email. So this is different than kind of your typical design-based email where it's, heavy images. This is going to be a simple text-based email, no HTML, no images, anything like that. And typically we like to just keep these pretty simple and definitely personal, like maybe from the founder or somebody on the team at your brand. Text-based emails from a person are going to do much better than kind of a text-based email from the brand, for example, or like the team. It comes off better if it's from an actual person. Text-based emails are just generally more deliverability friendly and much less likely to trigger spam filters compared to heavy design emails. So these are going to be perfect to send to your full list. Now, what should you be aiming for with your open rates and your click rates? So for open rates, you're going to want to hit 40 to 50% here. That's going to be kind of the metric that you want to track. And that's kind of the metric that you're going to want to be able to hit for your open rates. With click rates, you're going to want to hit 1%. And this seems to be the best balance where you can balance revenue, you can balance engagement, and you can balance frequency, the amount of times that you're sending your emails. This is also going to tell inbox providers, hey, people really like my emails and I'm going to keep delivering them to the inbox. We're not going to send them to spam. We're not going to send them to promotions. So before we jump into Klaviyo, I want to show you the breakdown of a 30-day engaged segment. And this is within the segment definition, but I'll show you that a little bit more in a second here. So the first thing that we're going to have is what someone has done or not done. Person has opened email at least once in the last 30 days. And then we're going to click or right here. So we want to make sure that we click or and not and. And then the next thing is what someone has done, clicked email at least once in the last 30 days, or what someone has done active on site at least once in the last 30 days. And then finally here, and this is actually going to be an and here, and I'll show you there inside of Klaviyo, but this is going to be an and. If someone can or cannot receive email marketing, person can receive email marketing because they subscribed. And this one is really just a check the box and make sure we're compliant and we're only sending to people who've actually signed up for our email list. It's kind of just like a double check within the system. So now let's head over to Klaviyo and see how we can set this up. So I'm inside of our kind of demo Klaviyo account here. We're going to head over here on the left to audience. We're going to go to lists and segments. Once here, we're going to go create new. We're going to hit create segment. We're going to name this something like 14-day engaged. And we're going to start selecting the conditions here. So these are where, this is kind of what I showed you just in the picture there. So what someone has or has not done, we're going to do opened email at least once in the last, and now we're going to do 14 days. And we're going to do add condition. It's going to be an or condition. What someone has or has not done, we're going to do clicked email at least once in the last 14 days. Add condition or, and what someone has done, active on site at least once in the last 14 days. And then finally, we're going to get that last kind of check the box condition here. So if someone can or cannot receive email marketing, can receive email marketing, and then we're going to hit this kind of funnel plus button right here because person subscribed. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to hit create segment, and it's going to pull in all the people within your segment. Obviously, I'm not going to have anybody because we don't have any customers or anything like that. Then once you have this segment, you can come over here, click these three dots. You can click clone, and we're going to do clone to this account. And we're going to say 30-day engage now. And you're basically just going to do this the exact same thing, and you're just going to change the days now. So 30, 30, 30, and that's one's good as well. And then you're just going to hit clone, and you're going to do that exact same thing for 60, and then finally you're going to do that exact same thing for 90 as well. And there you go. You're going to have your 4 engagement-based segments. So there we go. You have your 4 engagement-based segments that you can send emails to, your 14-day, your 30-day, your 60-day, and your 90-day. We know what type of emails we should send. So 70% value, 30% sales. And we know that about 70% of email campaigns should go to your 14 or 30-day engaged, and 30% of emails should go to your 60 or 90-day engaged. And we also know that, yes, it's okay to email your full list once a month or once every other month, depending on how kind of aggressive you want to be with your brand. And we know that you should aim for kind of like a 40 to 50% open rate, and you should aim for a 1% click rate on all of your email campaigns. So I hope this video was helpful. If so, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video.